knowing that they don't know me, I speak in these terms as my money. So these are initial evaluations that I'm not saying that I deserve this treatment. My money deserves to be seated if you want it. My money deserves to be acknowledged if you want it. My money needs to feel like it got its value if you want it. Because my end of the bargain when I came in the restaurant is if we give your money a seat, if we get your money a value for its dollar, if we acknowledge your money, if we give you your money this respect, can we have it? When you walked in, that was your bond. So, and I'm committed 10% whether I walk out after the first drink or I stay for an entire meal and spend, all of my budget for that particular event. You're on KUSH, Colorado's Kush. We are the Kush of the Rockies. This is the highest station in the nation. You're listening to Big Mike in the mornings. This is the Morning Wake and Bake. We have been smoking the banana brought to us by Living Well Dispensaries. Living Well Dispensaries has 4 metro area locations. They want to be your source for 420 products too. Visit one of the Living Well dispensaries near you. Go to livingwell.com for hours, availability, and strains that you may partake in. This is Big Mike, and we're talking about perceptions. Perceptions in how we deal with people. Going through the restaurant scenario is where I see a lot of people fail in understanding what's going on there. They're either expecting too much or they're accepting too little. A lot of people will, zero tip. I don't believe in zero tipping. I've only zero tipped one person ever in my life. And that was personal. Otherwise, if you are sitting there and you are being served, you have accepted basically the terms of the agreement. If your money was seated, and for me, if my money was seated, and it was made to feel welcome, and each step is a step on the ladder of how much more of my money you're going to get. I've gone to places, I've eaten out enough times to know what's acceptable when it comes to service, what I expect for my service. I don't expect every person in the joint to cater to me necessarily. Necessarily. Now, that's a necessarily, because, if they do fawn on me and they do give me special treatment, I love that. I don't like anybody else. Some of the places that I frequent regularly know this about me. I'm a great tipper. I believe in giving back to the experience that I get. If I get a great experience and a great memory and I had a great time, I want to give back to the people that made it so. Even to the point where if it's a better, you ever have this happen? You go out and it's a better time than what you thought it was going to be when you left the house, and you only budgeted X amount for your good time, but you've exceeded it. You paid for a good time if you accept the contract and you go in there, you have to accept it conditionally. But our perception and what we know about things, maybe we always get shitty service, and so we're like going into a restaurant, and I've been this way. I've been this guy. I don't want to go there. Fuck me every time I go in there. You go in there because your buddy likes to go in there, but you get jacked every time. So, in some ways, my perception, I'm sure, in these establishments contributed to the service I got. And because I was sitting there, and because I'm so rigid on some of these rules, I know I'm going to tip this bitch. I'm going to tip this bitch because I'm going to be in here next week, and I don't want her to fucking spit my drink or, spit my food or whatever. But I know she's a bitch. She's been a bitch to me the whole time I walked in here. She doesn't like me. And because my partner likes to sit here, I'm going to fucking end up tipping this bitch. That's my perception. I know that. I've accepted the rules of the game. I've accepted the responsibility. And I'm going to tip her because she's serving me. She's serving me with a fucking attitude. But she's serving me, and she is gonna get the minimum tip anyway. Probably my minimum tip, to be honest with you, is about 20%. If I stay there and I've had any type of good time, if it's a new place, I walk out, minimum tip is 10%, but I think 20%. If your bill is like $10, dude, tipping $2, which would be 20%, what the fuck? They brought you something. They picked up something and brought it to you. The customer, $2, I ain't worth $2. Some days it ain't. I'm gonna be honest with you, but some days that $2 you get a big value for that $2. Some days, if you walk into an establishment and you're sitting there, some days you get a lot for that $2. Because that's what it costs to go in and have a couple beers at an establishment. And if those 2 beers, if you're using $1 every time you bring, because that's what you give a kid. That's what I give kids to go get me a beer out of the cooler when I'm at the lake. Because my fat lazy ass is too high to go get my own beer. No. Colorado's Kush, KUSH. You've got Mike in the morning. You're listening to the Wake and Bake Show. We're on every morning, Monday through Friday. We have the Sunday special edition afternoon edition of the Wake and Bake, but we're here to just smoke up and talk about what grabs us. This morning, what grabs us is our perception and how that affects our daily interaction, our daily happiness. Our perception on a Monday is that Mondays suck. Mondays blow. Mondays kill the weekend. But you know what? Here's the deal about Mondays. Say Mondays were just as cool as Sundays. You get to, live Al Bundy style on the couch with your pants unzipped and you're just watching that football, because that's me on a Sunday. I'm a motivated guy during the week, but on Sunday, I'm a football junkie. I'm not a football junkie to where I've got to make my own team like the fantasy players. I don't have time for that crap. Good luck. I got enough trouble keeping up with how they're fixing the NFL. If you watched last year, there had to have been some big-ass fixes there. Packers should have never been. I'm a Packer fan, but anyway, I digress. We're on the Colorado KUSH's Wake and Bake with Big Mike. KUSH, your highest station in the nation. Please join us every day for my viewpoint, Big Mike's viewpoint on what's going on. This morning we're talking about perception, how positive perception, and we're going to finalize this hour here, with this half hour here, with the punchline. The punchline is you can change your perception from negative to positive yourself. Understand what you're doing. Understand that every interaction is a transaction. You are giving something and you are getting something from every transaction you have. What you're giving can affect what you're getting. You don't even have to say nothing. I had a thing, like I said, I was married 20 years. My wife would just have to make a facial expression, and I would stop the world and say, what's wrong? She didn't have to jump up. She didn't have to do cartwheels. She didn't have to spin on her head. And that, I believe, is what got us through to 20 years. Now, that to me is something that people expect out of other people. You expect people to know that you're in a bad mood. You expect people to know that, you're not getting along with your spouse. On Monday mornings, we get a lot of that. We get a lot of the baggage we have from home we carry into the workplace. And because our perception of having to go to work and interrupt whatever is going on at home, that's what, really gets Monday the bad rap, because Monday is like the end of the weekend. It's the killer of the weekend. It is the actual Grim Reaper for having fun. But here's the deal. Say Mondays were just like Sundays and they duplicated itself. we'd fucking hate Tuesdays. Am I right? Then Tuesdays would be the bad guy. You know? You're listening to Big Mike on the KUSH, KUSH, the highest station in the nation. The morning wake and bake. We are partaking of the banana KUSH, the hybrid from Living Well Dispensaries. Your source, my source for all your 420 needs. We're going to load another bowl here. We're on the third bowl in the wake and bake. Talking about how our perceptions can fuck us. You know, we talked about how we gathered our perceptions. We gathered our perceptions from our life experiences, some of the education that we have. We talked about walking out in the world and what we expect from our transactions. I used the restaurant analogy. Now we're going to talk about how to use our negative perceptions, our positive perceptions, or whatever we want to project into the world as a tool to actually gain a better experience or a better value for the transactions that we have. If everything's a transaction that we have and we give out a vibe that accurately demonstrates what we want, then the person on the other end of the transaction, A, knows what you expect better and can be more directed to giving you the type of service you want, and two, you lock in that type of service and that expectation by what you gave. You've already given the first give by being friendly or being nice, which was yesterday's program on the KUSH Wake and Bake. It was our Sunday edition. We broadcast it every day, except for Saturdays. We want you to use the morning wake and bake as just food for thought. Not really. I ain't trying to teach anybody nothing except for what you already know. Unless you were born completely in a shed, like Sling Blade. Yeah. Don't eat those French fried taters. Don't mess with the boy. You were Sling Blade, and that was you. Yeah, we'd be teaching you. We'd be teaching you how to live. But most of our listeners, I hope, had benefited from being exposed to good manners and good ways of living as a child. And these are things that we forget as adults when we are put to the grind. You know, the grind kills a lot. The grind kills a lot of our way of being able to ingest information properly and be able to sort it properly and to actually come up with the best solutions. I think that I'm a victim just like anybody else of being the multimedia presenters, getting to levels of achievement, trying to be self-focused. But, you know, it is a philosophy, and my philosophy is we all are one. And when we talk about our perceptions holding us back, and I would talk about observing people when they're out for dinner, I see the people that demand too much. I see the people that are always unhappy. And what the fuck? Look at what you're spending for your meal. I mean, are you at a place that you can demand it to be absolutely perfect, to be that unrelenting? Have you never made a mistake? But then, I know everybody wants the best value for their buck. If it's just outright bad and they don't care, yeah, I got a problem. I'm not with you. I'm not going to lay down. God doesn't want no pussies on his side. I'm a soldier of God. I'm a soldier of me. I'm a soldier of my own world. This is Big Mike on the KUSH, KUSH. You're on the morning wake and bake. We're going to give you the last opinion of this banana. Fire that bowl right up. I want to invite everybody to listen with us as we progress through the show. Hopefully it's going to do you some good. It's going to do me a lot of good to get this off my chest. All the people in my immediate circle are tired of listening to me preach. So I'm going after new listeners. I don't know. Maybe that's it. But I do believe that as many people that have come up to me and people that have known my past or not known my past and said how lucky I was, I'm here to tell you it's not luck. It's God, and it's living happy as a rule. You got Big Mike in the mornings. This is Colorado KUSH.